My first boyfriend was the hottest guy at school, literally the heartthrob of all the girls, and it was unbelievable that he noticed me. I felt on top of the world. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, I couldn't believe it. About 2 months into our relationship, I started to notice some odd behaviors from him, and I foolishly thought I needed to be more affectionate. So I did just that. Then one day he told me we needed to talk, and I thought this was it. It was over, and my world just seemed to collapse because I thought everything was going well, but he told me he was feeling bad, that he had personal problems, and obviously, I understood because it was my first real breakup. My sister saw how upset I was and suggested we go out for pizza to cheer me up, saying I needed to get out and distract myself. That very night, not even a day after we broke up, I noticed he posted initials with a heart on his social media status. I was heartbroken at the restaurant. I couldn't eat, and my sister became super nervous seeing me like that. I asked, "Why are you nervous?" "I just want to know who it is," and my sister tells me, "You know, I asked him who those initials belonged to." I was like, "Okay," and asked her to tell me whose initials they were, and she said it was some guy, but I know my sister. I know when she's lying. And clearly, she was. Later, I pushed her to tell me the truth, to please tell me whose initials they were and who the girl was. She finally comes to me and says, "Don't get mad, but this might be hard for you." And all I thought was, "You've got to be kidding me." It turned out the initials were my sister's. They were already dating, and it had only been a day since we broke up. My sister, of course, the whole time was just a mess. I walked out of there crying, and she told me she had fallen in love with him, that she couldn't help it, didn't want to hurt me, and loved me a lot. I didn't speak to my sister for months until I came to terms with it. It wasn't easy, but I tried to be a good sister, like Hermes to her. That's how my first boyfriend cheated on me with my sister. I then entered a new school without knowing anyone, and honestly, I didn't get along well with my classmates. They gave me weird looks, so I preferred to be alone. I only had one friend, but we weren't exactly inseparable. There was this typical couple at school, the kind everyone knows they break up and get back together. I admit, the guy was really handsome, but I thought, forget it, he has a girlfriend. Then one day, while I was sitting alone on a curb, he always comes up to me and starts talking, you know? He begins telling me his story with his girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, good for you. But then I turned to the stairs because I saw someone coming down, and this other guy gave us a killer look, the kind no one has ever given me before. At that moment, Eric, this guy, tells me that one guy from Seville got mad because this girl gets angry over nothing. After that, Eric and I started becoming really good friends, but I also became very close to his girlfriend. I told him, "Listen, I like you, but I don't want anything with you because your girlfriend is my friend, and friends respect each other." But then he would say, "No, it's not the same with Mare anymore. I swear I don't love her anymore." And I'd say, "Well, if you don't love her, why don't you just break up with her?" And you know what his excuse was? "I don't want to hurt her feelings, but he wants to be with me but doesn't want to leave her." Then one day, he tells me he ended it with her, and I'm like, really? And I felt bad. I felt guilty because it was all my fault. So Eric and I kept talking until one day I told him, "You know what? This has gone too far. I like you a lot, but I can't do this to Mare." And a week later, Mara calls me and says, "Guess what? I'm pregnant." My world just fell apart. I felt horrible and I asked her what she wanted to do. She said she was going to keep the baby and that Eric deserved to know about it. At this point, I wasn't speaking to Eric anymore. And then Mare, his ex-girlfriend, tells me she is pregnant with his child, but they weren't together anymore because of me. I couldn't tell Mare that I liked Eric, and I also couldn't tell Eric that Mare was pregnant with his child. 6 months passed. I had nothing to do with him and they didn't get back together. Literally, Eric didn't know about his baby. I still hung out with Mare, but it was different. After 6 months, my friend lost her baby. And not to sound harsh, but honestly, I was suspicious about the whole thing. Was she really pregnant? Where is the proof? Who says it was Eric's? I think it was just a moment for her to try to get him back. He never knew about her pregnancy. By then, he would have lost all hope, you know? Time passed, and we ran into each other at school for some paperwork or stuff like that because they lent it to me. But Eric and I never talked or anything happened. Yes, a long time ago I fell for a guy, and it turns out this guy was also in love with me, but he never told me. Anyway, time passed and my older brother started dating his sister, but we remained friends. Later, we realized we liked each other and became boyfriend and girlfriend secretly because I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. So, when we had been dating for about 5 months, our siblings found out but covered for us and didn't tell our parents. We continued dating for about a year. By this time, we were attending different schools, but then we graduated and ended up at the same school. We were so excited that we could see each other every day. But then, I started hearing rumors that he was cheating on me with a friend, and I confronted him, asking, "Today, they told me you're cheating on me. What's up with that?" And he was like, "No, of course not. Why would you believe them? I love you so much." And I believed him, and it seemed settled. But then, we had to join workshops, and in these workshops, we met a girl named Isabel. She flirted with him right in front of me, and he played along. She even asked him, "How many are you of Santiago?" Implying that Santiago, my boyfriend, and I are an item. I was like, what's this all about? Wow, the audacity of her to say, "Hey, then my old man is going to be super old," like literally, implying that she wanted to kiss my boyfriend. Naturally, I was shocked because you just don't say things like that. I told my boyfriend what she had said, and he just brushed it off, and when I asked him if he liked her, he said yes. As you can imagine, this was the start of many deceits on his part, and foolishly, I kept forgiving him because we needed each other. Over time, I felt like he was going to break up with me, but he knew how to reach my heart, so I kept forgiving him. After about 4 years together, some photos of me started circulating. You know how it goes. Another guy, who always liked me, told my brother that Santiago was the one who had sent the photos because he literally rolled them out. My brother told me, and I was furious with him, rightfully so, for something I had trusted him with, and I stopped talking to him. My ex found out that I was starting to like someone else and accused me. "Today, you're in Sebastian's hands," and I told him, "Yes, please stop bothering me. My house is my life, not yours." Then he started playing the victim, but eventually, he and I became friends again, and he told me that he missed the affection I gave him, unlike his ex, whom they had recently broken up with. I ended things with my boyfriend because by that time, I was with Sebastian. We got back together, but I started noticing him acting strangely. He stopped talking to me due to alleged issues, which was a big lie, until I confronted him that he was no longer interested, and he casually admitted it, which hurt a lot. We broke up. Buddy, I just remembered something that happened to me when I was in the 2nd semester of university. It was one of my best friend's birthdays. My eye twitched when I saw that it was her birthday, and of course, she invited me and a friend, who was also in a different classroom, to go out to eat. We agreed to meet on the steps at a certain time after our last classes, and from there, we would all go together to this restaurant, which was super close, about 10-12 minutes walking from the university. So, my friend and I thought they were already on their way because they weren't answering our texts. At that moment, we decided to just call a car. Since I was talking about the project, you said, "All right, we'll both go." We ordered it, and when it arrived, right from the start, there was this weird vibe, not that the driver was scary or anything. Then I told them, "We'll be there in like 2 minutes because it's faster by car," and when it was time to pay, I think the usual app was just showing other options. We chose not to, because we didn't have small change, but we actually did. It was just that we didn't want him to charge us more than what was stated. And dude, literally, he started the car as if he was about to take off. And there I was thinking, where is this guy going to take us? What's going on? I was freaking out with my friend, thinking we were done for. They were going to traffic our organs or something. I was genuinely scared, right in the middle of the day, because I thought, this is it. He didn't say anything, just started driving. And then, I told him we didn't have change, and he stopped again, looked at me totally seriously, and I told him straight up, chill, I don't know why people make up so many things. I swear, they don't know what to invent anymore. Let me tell you a story from when I was in high school. Everything started with some friends at a party, and I decided to go because, why not, right? At that party, I had a cousin, and I used to hang out with him obviously because he was my cousin. Whatever, the point is, everything about that party. I spent time with my cousin, but it seems like most people didn't know we were cousins. I thought it was obvious, but apparently, it wasn't. Okay, wait. I don't know why I make such a big deal about this. It's not like it matters to anyone. But anyway, the point is that we were just hanging out and dancing, taking pictures, you know, the usual stuff. Then we went to buy some snacks, and one of my friends, looking really worried, comes up to me and says, "Wait, where were you? You looked so busy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was with Pancho. That's a fake name, okay?" So my friends freak out and Pancho and I are like, "Yes, because..." And what she said next blew my mind. She told me people were saying that I went off to hook up with him, and when she told me that, I was like, "What? But he's my cousin." So I told her straight up, "He's my cousin." And she's like, "I know, but everyone's saying you went off with him to do stuff." And I'm like, "No, he's my cousin." So part of me didn't care, and I was like, people can think what they want. I know the truth. But then, for some reason, I ended up sitting with some guys I wasn't close with, and they start saying, "So, you went off with Pancho, huh?" And I'm like, "He's my cousin." And they're all, "Really?" And I keep insisting, "Yes, Pancho is my cousin." And they're like, "Oh, we didn't know." It made me curious about what other nonsense people had invented about me going off with my cousin. After asking around and talking to a lot of people, I found out it was some guy I've never even spoken to. I didn't get a chance to finish the story, but there's a part 3 coming, and the first thing I thought was, wake up, why are people making up stories about me when we've never spoken? What have I done to them? What's their motive? To this day, I don't get it, but the point is, I don't like being the center of drama. At that party, I chose not to cause a scene because of my friends. My parents were about to arrive, so I decided to wait until Monday. When the long-awaited Monday finally came, I thought, this is it, you're not getting away this time. Although we were in different classrooms, we had never spoken before. So, during the break, I went up to him, stood right in front of him, and he looked shocked, like, what the heck? I confronted him. Do you have something to say, stupid? Or better yet, why are you making things up about me? I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along those lines. He was totally taken aback and seemed scared. I might have threatened him a bit, saying, "You don't want to mess with me because I used to be very different, and I don't let things slide easily." And yes, indeed, it worked. He never bothered me again. A year ago, I used to hang out a lot with one of my neighbors. We were just friends and hung out every day. He was going through a rough patch, and I always tried to help him, letting him know I was there for him. I'm usually a very happy person. I'm almost always in a good mood. Of course, there are times when I feel sad, but that's not often. One day, I told him, it's been 90 days, trying to cheer him up, and you know what he did. He called me and told me to come outside. I looked out the window and didn't see anyone at first, so I was hesitant. But he insisted, "No, seriously, come out." And there he was, right outside my house. I grabbed my favorite jacket, which is oak-colored, by the way, and also took my little angel statue, because you never know. It was such a beautiful moment, really cool. Just the other day, I was lounging around with my mom in her room when my brother came in and lay down with us. I suggested, "Let's make brownies," and he was like, "No, I have to." I had to exercise because it was about 5 degrees Celsius outside, and you're telling me you feel like exercising in 5 frigid degrees? Instead, I said, "Let's make brownies." But after a while, he motivated me, and I agreed, yes, you're right. I should exercise instead of eating. Not that there's anything wrong with eating. So I went to my room to change into workout clothes, and then he said I needed to be persistent. I agreed but told him, "But let's not make brownies, I'm craving cookies instead." However, we didn't have cookie dough. We found a recipe on TikTok and decided to make it, but then we realized we didn't have all the ingredients, and we needed vanilla extract. We didn't want to go to the store looking the way we did, so I decided to text one of my neighbors. I get along with two of my neighbors, so I texted one and asked, "Hey, are you home by any chance? I know this sounds weird, but do you have some vanilla extract I can borrow? I'll return it tomorrow." Unfortunately, he replied, "No, sorry, I just ran out." So, I thanked him and then reached out to my other neighbor. I asked, "Hey, are you home? I was wondering if you had some vanilla extract." He responded that he was out but added, "I might have some, not sure, but go ahead and check if you need to." Eventually, after trying to figure things out, my brother and I started arguing about who knows what, and my mom got fed up with hearing us. She ended up buying the ingredients herself just to stop the bickering and also because she was tired of our company.